Hi again. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller. And today we're going to be doing my What Sold video. We're late again for Monday through Thursday, November 10th through the 13th. And we have excuses for why we're late. It was not a good week last week. We talked about it in our live show. We had lots of issues from just our house flooded. Our washing machine hose broke and flooded upstairs in the basement.
Can I interrupt for a second? Y'all, unless everything goes perfectly, it's not a good week for her. I'm married to her, so every week is a good week for me. Obviously, she doesn't see it the same way that I do.
Just
My feelings are getting a little hurt now.
The trials and tribulations of homeownership. We had a flat tire. We've just had a lot of little, that wasn't even little. The flooding was awful.
Taking flooring up, laminate flooring up is not considered little.
Yeah, no. But I think we're on the right track. Things seem to be drying out. And hopefully, probably after this holiday week, we will try to get flooring put back down again in the hallway. But we got a new washing machine. So hopefully that's the end of that issue for now. So let's go ahead. I went and looked at my numbers for this 4-day period. I had 2 okay days and 2 really good days. So you can't complain. Because my sales have actually been pretty amazing. I think last week when I talked about my video sales, I was up like 45% from the month before. I'm about 35. It's kind of mellowed out a little. But I'm selling a lot of the stuff that I marked down, trying to get them gone. So definitely encourage you to go through your inventory, let go of the emotions, and drop those prices and get that stuff gone so that next year you can start with a fresh outlook on sourcing and, better inventory. That's the game plan for me anyway. But I only have one Etsy to share with you. But since that week, I've sold 16. So it's definitely picked up for me. I plan on keeping up with Etsy for the next year. Try to get more on there. But I'm still kind of sticking with stuff that's like $20 and higher. And we'll see how it goes. Not sure about Mercari and Posh. Posh has just been ridiculous. All right, let me go ahead and show you some of the stuff that I sold those 4 days. My one and only sale on Etsy, a lot, shocking, of Arby's, Babar, elephant, kids' toys. I don't even know why I don't have the word elephant in there. That's just kind of weird. But Babar is Babar, and I had got a lot of these, I think, from that high bid estate sale. And then I added some other stuff that I had found that were either listed independently or, I picked up in the bins and was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with them. But this lot of Babar sold for $44.95. All right, and then this is from the last trip to the bins. This was all of that dollhouse stuff I found in one bin. This is Loving Family Dream Ladder to the Camper. Sold for $12. I sold these Jellycat Moonbeam Ellie Elephant. Been listed a while. Had a high price on it. But when I got a $49 offer, I tell you guys this all the time. Go check comps. See if the price hasn't changed since you originally listed it, and it seemed reasonable, so I went ahead and accepted it. This is a Ravensburger puzzle, but it was sealed, so we didn't have to put it together. Thank goodness. It looks kind of boring. $15.25.
She's whining an awful lot about the current puzzle.
Our current puzzle, it's all shades of brown. I put a few pieces. I made myself sit out there last night and do a few pieces.
So you did more than one.
Because
the last one, she did one piece.
I did
one out of 1,000
piece in that 1,000-piece puzzle. He's the puzzle person. I'm going to fully admit that. I'll sit and do it sometimes, but not. He likes to sit and listen to audiobooks and work on the puzzle in the evenings. All right, next thing that sold was this Fisher-Price Loving Family Dollhouse baby it actually was also in that lot of stuff that I picked up at the bins. It sold for $8.96.
And this week's book is The Two Towers by Tolkien.
Douglas Mouse Plush. I pick up most Douglas, but just be aware, a lot of it is bread and butter. This was just a 5-inch mouse, and it sold for $8.96. Wavy glass tumblers. This is the time of year that people are getting out their holiday dishes and realizing they want to go look for some more pieces. Maybe something got broke. Maybe they want more. And this is what happened with this. This person has already left me feedback saying that they were adding it to their current collection. But these two little glasses sold for $10. Amico is the brand. This is a transistor radio plush. I think Radio Shack actually put out a bunch of these. They do not work anymore. They do not get any broadcast, which I put that in there. The radio does not work. People are just probably purchasing them for the collection, memory, nostalgia, and it sold for full price $29.95. Kmart Christmas stuff, ceramic house. I bought a bunch of this types of things at a yard sale years ago, and some of it was Department 56, so of course that stuff sold quicker, but this was just a little 9.5-inch tea light house, and it sold still $22.45. J. Crew striped pajama set. Picked this up at the bins. I was surprised that, I was able to find the pants and the shirt, and they sold for $19. Picked up several Folkmanis puppets at a recent estate sale, and then I realized when we got home, they had that fake coating on their paws. You'll see that a lot of times in older plush, and it was all cracking and flaking off. So I was not able to get the best price on these. I just mentioned the issues with it. $9.95. That's my go-to price for a lot of this type of stuff. And it sold very quickly, $8.96. I think I paid $1 for it, maybe $2, so I definitely at least got my money back. I got to pay better attention to that stuff. This is Mattel Monster High Frankenstein doll, sold for $15. This was one of the first of several higher dollar items that we had picked up. I think we paid like $3 or $5 for this at an estate sale. I like the fact that it actually had a sealed pack of the reels included in the box. It is made of Bakelite and lighted, and I did take a picture showing that the light worked, and it sold for $69.95. Rodney reindeer, I pick them up all the time, anytime I can find them. I'm pretty sure this was in a bag that I picked up in an estate sale. There were like 8 of them for $5. This one had its Burger King paper tag still, and it sold for $17.95. Hasbro For Real plush. Don't pick them up very often. A lot of times they don't work. They have broken limbs, so always check the limbs before you purchase something like this. And they just don't sell for a whole lot, with a few exceptions. This one took quite a while to sell, probably over a year, and it finally sold $19.76. And I say all that, and I just listed a For Real goat this week. I don't listen sometimes to myself. All right, this is Walgreens. I like picking up Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, any of those drugstore plush, because a lot of times, somebody picks it up during the holidays, and then that's the last time you will see that specific plush. This one was from 2019, and the dog sold for $12.11. Fisher-Price viewer cartridges. A lot of them were missing their labels, you can see. The one thing I did do on this was for each one of these cartridges, I just put my camera up to the the viewer, and I was able to show them what exactly video they were getting. All of them sold for $31.45. I think this might be the last of the Terry Lee doll clothes that I picked up in a large lot at an estate sale. I paid $65 for 3 dolls and a large lot of clothes and shoes and accessories. I think I've sold all of the dolls and I think all of the clothes. There were a few that I did keep separate, especially the ones that were labeled with Terry Lee. These weren't, but I just stated in there that, you know, they were made for Terry Lee dolls and didn't seem to have an issue with any of the things that I've sold. And these 2 little flared skirts sold for $32.35. This was a Ben's pickup. I don't think I'm going to pick up Bitty Babies anymore. You know, I'm paying $2 a pound. So probably about that much for the doll. And they're just not selling like they used to. This one was from 2014. I figured it being older, I would do better with it. It sold very quickly. Probably the same day I listed it, but it only sold for $16. Beanie Babies. Y'all, I've had these forever. Years ago, I picked up a bunch because they had their little paper tags. They were at the bins. And I just bought them. I bought them thinking maybe I could do lots and do okay with them. I sold quite a bit, but I'm down to the last of them. I think I've still got a few over here. I tried to put on Whatnot and they didn't go. But this lot of 10 bears sold for $18, but they're gone. Fisher Price, Amazing Animal, and just plastic figures. Just decided to put the 3 of these together. The giraffe, the little puppy dog, and the monkey. And they sold for $9.50. Talbot's women's purple pants. Not my size. I might have kept them just because they're purple. But they sold for $17.71. Be careful with end and sell similar. I talked about this in my live also. You know, me, I still do my daily end and sell similar, but also while I'm changing up my inventory, you know, I'm making lots. So the other day I took down about, I want to say 12 or 15 items that I was taking new pictures with something else with the item. And then I was just going to do sell similar and get it back on eBay. And they didn't come back. And they didn't come back. And after 2 hours, they still hadn't come back. So I just gave up, went to the house because it was the end of the day. And the next morning, 10 of them came back. We're back.
So what you're saying is sometimes they come back.
Yeah. 10 of them came back after a day. And then the rest came back after 2 days. So be really, really careful. If you know you are taking down 25 listings, don't do anything until those 25 listings go in your unsolds. Because 2 days, something happened that day. I think it was Thursday. Something happened that day. eBay was all kind of messed up. But, you know, they're still doing stuff in the background. This morning I woke up with a new sizing for clothing. I was doing some ending them in my store and using List Perfectly to move them over into Robert's store. And the size chart has totally changed when you're listing on the desktop. Now it's like this big block that pops up and you have to pick. Instead of it just being the numbers going down, it's this big block with blocks of sizes. So I don't know why they're messing with stuff in fourth quarter. But just be careful when you're doing your end and sell similar. Fisher Price Wheelies, y'all, I haven't been listing them for a while. Hadn't really found any at the bins. I think it's just one of those things other people are also collecting. But when I did comps the other day, I realized they're selling for quite a bit. Better than they used to. I mean, this sold probably within a day or 2 of listing. And I had just the 5 little wheelies and the little Fisher Price car to go with it. and they sold for $20. Baby blanket quilt. I picked up some at a yard sale many years ago. This is over 3 or 4 years ago. Thinking they would do better. They took forever to sell. But this one finally sold $14.95. Dropping the prices is really, really making a difference. During fourth quarter, I mean, I think that is the twofold success of this. Fourth quarter, dropping your prices, the algorithm's happy with me, and buyers are picking this stuff up. This is called Friday Night Boyfriend. I have never watched that. It was a Christmas plush, and it sold for $25. This, you know, when I picked it up because it was an advent calendar. I didn't realize it was one of the Avon ones until I was doing my research. Unfortunately, there is no mouse. There's like 2 of these. One has a Santa and one has a mouse. This one is the mouse one. It had discoloration and some stains and just wear. So I priced it at the bottom of what other people were listing theirs for and selling them for. And it sold almost immediately, $69.95. So definitely keep your eyes open for these Avon advent calendars. I've sold them for like 150 plus before. For some reason, I didn't realize that one was Avon. All right, this is Donkey Kong Diddy Kong plush, sold for $20. That was a Ben's pickup. Little dog plush purse. Didn't really have a brand, sold for $10. Again, another Jelly Cat. This was a large pillow, 16-inch one. Had it listed for a while now, I think since like January, and just wasn't moving. So when I got the $40 offer, it seemed to be reasonable price compared to what others were selling and being listed for right now. So I just went ahead and accepted it. Fisher Price doll. Why does it say stuffed animal? Oh, because it's either for a doll or a stuffed animal. I never did figure out what it specifically went for. But it was a bottle and a juice box, and they sold for $13.45. Metal horse hanging ornaments. I think I picked these up at interesting like bonus estate sale, yard sale we stopped at this summer. Just didn't find a whole lot, but found some interesting like Christmas stuff. I think that's the same one that we bought that wheel, that color wheel for the aluminum tree. I think I bought just a lot of this interesting stuff. I'm telling you, it was like 50 cents and $1 for the stuff that I was picking up. These little metal ornaments sold for $16.16. I'm starting to sell shoes. I went a long time not selling hardly any shoes, and then we've sold several pair in like the last 10 days or so. These are just Vans skateboarding shoes, and they sold for $13.72. But again, they've been listed a couple years, so it was time to go. Christmas ornament. There's only one U, beautiful U. Interesting. Sold for $13.45. This person said that they left me feedback already. They bought these to put in their camper to add to their other Melmac melamine cafeteria lunch trays. Sold the 6 of them for $22.45. Fisher Price Puffalump had some issues. The tag had faded, had some discoloration. Still sold probably in about a month for $23. This was, I think, my best sell. I think so. This is the second of the Fisher Price Little People vehicles that I realized were what they consider whoops, that they're out of production and they're mistakes. You know, during manufacturing, they put 2 pieces together that shouldn't have gone together. This was an all white vehicle, and it sold for $95. Folk Manus hand puppet. I have sold the heck out of a lot of puppets in the last week, but I really like these Folk Mantis ones. Sunny Company also does ones that look very similar to this. They're usually like 24 inches. This one sold for $35.95. Aurora Meoni Tots, little dog plush, sold for $17.95. Walmart black and white plush dog. I tend to pick up almost any of the Walmart dogs that are flat like this. They just do really well for me. This one was from 2020 and it sold for $22.45. This person took advantage of two of my markdown bears, the Petting Zoo Baby Boy Bear and a teddy bear by FIB, and picked them both up for $17.92. UGG actually puts out some loveys. This was a koala bear and it sold for $13.45. This we picked up recently at an estate sale. I paid $10 for it, but I just knew it was something special. It is Arlene the cat from the Garfield series, but it's one of those marionette puppets. And it sold very quickly in a couple days for $59.95. Oh, and last but not least is this Gund Tigger hand puppet, sold for $17.95. Another really quick sell. And then in Robert's store, first thing that sold were these Gap Sexy Boyfriend women's jeans, sold for $19.99. American Eagle high-rise jeggings, making them gone price, sold for $9.61. Ralph Lauren pink ruffled front top, sold for $13.21. Old Navy black power slim straight jeans, sold for $17.71. Old Navy kicker jeans, sold for $12. Simply Vera Wang women's jeans, sold for $13.21. And last but not least were these Lee Classic Fit straight leg jeans, sold for $13. All right, get this video out for you guys. I still have a brand video I'm going to get out this week. Hopefully we're not going to have any more disasters and we can just start enjoying the holiday. This week seems to be slowing down in sales. It is Thanksgiving week. That's kind of, I'm planning on running a different sale starting Thursday, hopefully to pick up a lot of the people who are going to be full and sitting on their couch at their family's house and ready to start shopping. So hopefully I want to make a whole bunch of sales this weekend. So definitely get a sale started. Do something to get people interested in your items and make the algorithm happy. All right, y'all. It's time to get to work. Bye.